Good afternoon. It is Monday and 1 o'clock. It's lunchtime and we are the Luscious Ladies. Yes, we are live. And are we so excited and a little bit in naughty mode to bring you our show today? For those of you who might have read our little blurb about the intro, I hope you're excited about what we're going to be sharing. Jessica, good afternoon. Lucy, good afternoon. How was your weekend and how are you today?
Yeah, super dupers.
I'll let you go first, Lucy, while I'm trying to work out why I'm so dark today.
I know, am I dark?
Yeah, we're dark. So as we talk into that, we're like going, we're not prepped for this. It's very dark. But did you have a good weekend?
Did you have a good weekend, Lucy?
Super weekend, yeah. I've been partying. I had a fabulous party yesterday at a very swish restaurant in Manchester, and lots of celebrities there. Yeah.
Oh, spill. Tell
Really?
us about
Molly May.
So, I know the name.
Yes.
But...
So, and lots of people off Love Island. Molly May, Tyson Fury. Yeah. So it was for her manager. So it was for their little son Bobby. So it was called Bobby's Bash. It was just it's amazing. Just right, and it was a christening, but it was done in a very different way. We had a fantastic musicians on and singers and saxophone players. I kind of hid my saxophone in its box.
Not tempted to join in?
No, I did in the end when I got like a little kind of gap and the saxophone player loved it. It was like, oh, ace. I was like, yeah, I only do mine for fun. He went, who cares? The energy was just amazing. It was just, we had candy floss, we had face paint. Oh, it was, anyway, there we go.
Fantastic. I'm not a Love Island watcher.
No, me either.
So that's probably why we didn't know. So for all of you who are listening who are Molly May fans looking at us going, sorry, just don't watch the programme.
I'm not either, but I believe that I was kind of on like everybody who follows people, and they were all going on the stories. So I think people could see me in the background entertaining the kids. So they were like, are you at this christening? Like, you were on everybody's stories.
Yay. Fantastic. Such fun. So Jessica, tell us what you got up to this weekend.
Well, that's not quite as exciting. I was screwing plasterboard to the ceiling. I thought I'd paused, but no, yeah. So I'm still home renovating, and now I ended up doing a lot of it ourselves, which is quite tiring. I didn't realize plasterboard was so heavy. No one told me this thing. You know, you learn something new every day. 25 kilos, like one of those sheets is, you know.
Wow, so that is a lot, actually. Yeah, I didn't know that.
Well and truly been getting plastered then.
I have plastered and screwing all weekend.
Screwing and plastering.
Yeah, all weekend. So not as exciting as yours, though, Lucy. What about you, Vicky? What have you been up to?
So I have been doing domestic stuff. Really exciting. Yes, cleaning out cupboards, doing the garden. Actually, it was a really nice weekend to spend some time tidying up my garden, which is not something, to be quite honest, that I enjoy. And I know a lot of people do like gardening. I am not one of them, but I do like the result when it's actually done. So it was well worth it. And I had cats following me around the garden, looking at what I was up to. So it was all good fun. I live in a neighbourhood where there's lots of cats. And they like the fact that you're messing about in the earth.
Did you go to the dump?
No, didn't need to. No, I'm saving that probably for later on this year when I've got a really good pile.
That's like exactly. That's a very good segue, like into the conversation. But why do we call it the dump?
I've never heard of the dump.
Yeah,
I call it a tip.
You call it a tip. We've always called it the dump.
I think I prefer dump than tip.
The book. Do you remember the book when you were a kid?
Stick of the Dump. Oh, I loved that book. Yeah.
Yeah. One of my faves. Yeah. So yeah, I'm guessing from that. I don't know.
Yeah.
If anybody does know who's listening, why do we call it that?
Why do we call it that and not the don't know.
That relates us very nicely though onto another use for the term dump, doesn't it? And we're talking poo today, folks. And I know that some people do say, I'm off for a dump, meaning that they are going or a poo. So it's one of those subjects that some people are quite happy to discuss, and other people kind of go, "Oh, we can't talk about that." So, so guys, shall we talk poo?
I think we should talk poo. I think we should. We're taking it a little bit into the whole like the taboo conversations, aren't we? Like you might not have those conversations, but we're going to talk poo.
Yeah, we're talking poo, and why do we find it such a hard thing to discuss? And B, do you know what your poo tells you about your health?
No, but I bet you
Lindsay, over to you.
I bet you do, Vicky.
Have you got a chart? Have you got a chart?
We used to have a poo chart at the hospital when I worked at the hospital, and they used to have a chart to kind of describe all your different poos. But it's funny though, we taboo it, but why do kids find it so funny? Because kids, as soon as you mention the word poo, they just love it, don't they?
Why is
that?
I still find it funny.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's just the word, isn't it? It's just the word poo, and we just kind of think, it's hilarious. And in America, I find it even more because they don't say poo. They kind of look at me odd when I say poo. It's poop.
Poop.
Oh, so they do. They're the poop.
Yeah. So we have to talk about your poop. But in the hospital, that stool chart is something that I use with my clients quite a lot.
Do you?
Because I encourage them to look at their poo on a daily basis.
But isn't that like another thing you said? Like it's the taboo thing. Is just like not look at it. It's just like it doesn't happen. Just get rid of it. It's waste. So it's kind of like it is the stuff is thrown away. So just you once it's out, forget about it, and it's kind of and it's gone. But it is one of those things that's just like
not spoke about.
Yeah,
it's brown, isn't it? It's kind of
should be
smelly.
Yeah.
And if you step in it, you kind of know about it because you leave a trail. We've all must have been out on country walks and stepped into poo that was from animals.
Yeah.
And not realise until you get in the car.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you go running, Vicky?
Back in the day when my hips and knees were working better than they were, I used to be a bit of an animal runner. I did like competing.
Did you? Yeah. And did you ever need a poo when you went running?
Do you know what? It's interesting. No, I never had that problem. But
Did you?
I know that quite a lot of people do.
Yeah.
And if it's not that they need to go for a poo, it's that they need to go for a wee once they start bouncing and jiggling around. But no, fortunately for me, that was never one of my things.
I exercise poo. Like I literally, if I've done a good lot of exercise, about half an hour later, I'm like, it's like it's jiggled around. Yeah. It's like, is that not a thing?
It can, movement absolutely helps. So your poo, the consistency of your poo. So it's just reminded me of a joke that I find hilarious, and this is why we do laugh. So my daughter told me this joke way back when she was at secondary school. It might even have been infant school, and I still find it funny to this day because your brain goes immediately to poo, and I've kind of spoilt it for you now. But what's brown and sticky?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And it's meant to be a stick.
A stick.
Yeah. But it is a bit like
your brain goes straight to poo.
Yeah.
And this is why we find it so funny. But looking at what's going on in your diet, absolutely. If you are not going to the loo on a regular basis and you do some movement, then chances are movement does literally get everything moving, as can a hot drink first thing in the morning. So some people swear by a cup of coffee or a cup of tea to get everything going. It very much depends on what you've been eating and what kind of consistency it is. And it's a really good indicator actually of your health and how good your body is at absorbing the nutrients from the food that you're taking. So it's quite a good tool to use a stool chart.
I used to when I worked at the hospital, I've got all my stuff still at the hospital after all these years. I've got a little sample pot, and it's got a little stool in there.
One of yours?
Yeah.
I'm not doing this thing. I'm not sure where to go with that, Lucy.
Are you keeping it for posterity or?
It's got a little wooden stool in it. It's wooden.
Oh,
wooden!
Oh my god! I'm Really?
It's got a little wood. Well, and it's funny because the kids don't know what stool is. So I used to
Well,
always
it's poo,
say,
isn't it?
so, but they don't know. So I used to just go like to the parents. I used to go, look, I better go because I've got to go and take my stool sample to the wherever I was off to. And so the parents would be like laughing their heads off, and I'd just leave it. I'd just like, and the kids would be like, what are they laughing at? Because they don't know. They don't know they understand the
thing,
word.
Lucy, that's the sign of a great entertainer, that is, to be able to do both and keep it all there together. Like, you love watching, when you watch all those films and you just go, oh God, the kids don't get this joke, but it's really good. Or, it's just like, you've always got to, love it.
But that helps them, doesn't it? Definitely, to understand what it is.
Yeah. And that's what
especially in hospital when there's all these words that they're hearing all the time and they're probably going, what?
I know.
What?
I did used to have one with Winnie the Pooh in it as well, but it was just not that as funny as the wooden stool because I just like
No, I like it. I might have to get one to put on a shelf in here and just get like not a ship in a bottle. It's like
I'm in a bottle. Seems like if it's
in a bottle. I love that. I love that.
With kids, if you think about it, we ought to be teaching them early on to look.
But we teach them to stop looking, don't we? We teach. I think actually. I mean, you might not have done, but it's all that automatic thing. I mean, I still remember, look, even subconsciously, I would be like, Ollie, can you stop? Just flush the toilet, and you kind of you just you're always hurrying, like, just flush the toilet. But actually,
we're naturally inquisitive as kids, aren't we? So we want to look.
Yeah.
Best thing that we can do. Do you remember? Are you too young to remember Gillian McKee?
No,
you're too young. She used to be on TV. she did actually do a stint in the jungle, and she was ridiculously annoying and fainting and all kinds of stuff. But she was known as the lady who always was talking about poo, and she was one of the first people on TV to look at different elements of bodies to see what was going on from a health point of view. She's before her time, to be quite honest, because the stuff that she was talking about back then is what people are now saying is all new about gut health. It's not new at all. But she used to go into people's homes, and people used to watch it on TV because it was so compulsive, because it was like, how soon is it going to be before she starts talking about poo and having a look at it?
So it brings it out from her bag.
Every morning.
Yeah.
Beautiful. I'm not sure I'd be up for that, but I do realise how I think now how important it kind of is and how much it kind of tells you about it. Because I always thought it's like, a couple of times a day and all this kind of stuff. But but then it's that whole thing going, well, actually, if you go too much, it's your body really taking in those nutrients. It's flushing them straight through rather than allowing your body to absorb them. It's like, where's this really healthy balance? So we should all have poo charts.
Ideally, or at least have a clue as to what it is that we're looking for. And if it doesn't look like a number 3 or a number 4 on the chart, kind of want to know, well, what does the other stuff mean? Because it can mean that stuff's going through too quickly. Think about it. When people have a nervous poo, right? It's diarrhea. Because
so why is that when people of the nervous poo?
So it affects your whole digestive system, and for many people it switches on the hormones that tell the tract to speed up. So we have this natural kind of wave-like process that goes on in your digestive system all the time. We're not aware of it, but often when people are anxious, that speeds up double time. And so they end up, when you're nervous, you kind of rush into the toilet, and it's not a number 3 or a number 4, is it? It's more like
that kind of backs it up the other way as well, though, right? Because you have that whole thing of going, actually, so probably TMA. But if I'm in a space that I'm not comfortable with, I'm unfortunately I only like to poo in my own house person. I can't do it in public, and that's a thing I've got, and I don't know why. Is a thing, which means that I can make myself literally cramp like a crazy, literally person, and it kind of then dissipates, and then you're kind of going, then after that it's just awful, because it's the stopping it and having that whole like kind of flow, and that's psychological as well, right? That's literally like,
and this is where we've got to understand that you can't separate your brain and your body, because you've got that whole vagus nerve that controls what's happening in your nervous system, and how you're thinking affects what is going on physiologically, and it absolutely does. So for some people, if they are in a situation where they can't ever say what they need to say, and they're always feeling like they're holding stuff in, chances are those people are constipated a lot of the time. So it absolutely gives you a clue as to what's going on with a person's mental health as well as physical. And obviously, as a functional medicine practitioner, taking stool samples can tell me a lot about what's going on in your gut, and if you've got dysbiosis or bacterial imbalance, or if you've got any kind of microbes in there and parasites that should not be, because often that can affect how you're feeling and how you're thinking, and you don't even know it. Mold can be detected as well. So if you're living in a damp house and you don't realize that you're having issues that are related to mold, you can see that in your poo. Your poo is just amazing.
Poo is amazing.
How do you get your poo checked out then? What do you do?
So you can, so you literally can go, just literally goes online, and you can order from there's a couple of labs that I will recommend people go to, that they can order a stool sample testing kit, and you'll get the sample tubes sent through the post, and you have to follow the instructions very carefully, and then it will get sent off, and somebody like me will be able to tell you what the report means. Or actually, most of the reports are written now so that you can understand, but obviously then it's recommended that you speak to somebody to know what to do with whatever you found. But it's usually 3 to 5 days is the best one. So your GP might send you for a stool sample test. For example, if they think there might be parasites going on. The problem is with parasites is they sleep and they wake up. So it could well be that you have a 1 day stool sample for your GP and it comes back nothing in it. That's because the parasite's not active at the minute. So it might be in there, but it might not be in an active cycle, and parasites are affected by the moon. So if anybody's ever done a cleanse, they'll know that it's best done when the moon is at the right time for the parasites to come out. So stool samples and stool testing tells us a lot.
Wow.
Lots.
I have a really random question on that side then. So do you do those testing, like literally the samples get posted back to them?
Yes. There's a way of storing them which you have to follow on the instructions. So some get stored in the fridge, one particular one will get stored in the freezer, and the tubes come with specific chemicals that will keep the sample intact until you've got all of the days for you to. And once you do send them off, you've got to make sure that you send them off recorded delivery and fast express. Obviously, they need to get there as quickly as possible once you've completed it.
This is. Are you going to have yours checked, Jessica?
Well, do you know what? Actually, me and Vicky have talked about it. Actually, like doing things. So after I've done I'm doing like a cleanse, and once I've done like kind of a detoxing thing, and then there's still like a whole, because I have the whole literally, like the whole whatever that bacteria we reckon.
Dysbiosis.
Yeah, that was a big word.
Just a posh word for imbalance. That's all.
An imbalance, because it is like, and mine is a mixture of, I think, that and, as I said, it's psychological. It's like I literally can make myself like panic that I'm going somewhere that I just don't feel comfortable going to the toilet, and then I'll be like, oh my god, I've got to go. It's like this whole like it's fascinating, really. Like
because the ketone drink can give me a little bit rumbly, kind of,
bubbly. Well, but does it affect your actual poo, or does it just make your tummy feel a bit odd?
No, it can affect, but I think it depends what food you put with that drink, if that makes sense. So
I
could be, when I did the cleanse, I was absolutely fine, and when I eat really low in sugar foods with the ketone drink, I'm fine. But then if I have the ketone drink and I have a load of wine and a load of cheese and a load of everything else, then
it's the problem. Stop saying, don't keep reminding us, Lucy, that we're meant to eat whole foods.
Yeah.
And guess what? Your poo will look healthy.
Well, one of the things that people just need to take on board, though, is that just having enough fluid is so important to the transition. So constipation is one of them things that literally you can rectify very simply if you just drink enough.
Oh.
So we're
So we've got Joanna saying that we call it a dump. We asked the question earlier, didn't we? Why do we call a dump a dump? Maybe because you dump all your stuff there. I think that's, you know what? I think that sounds pretty obvious, and yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, I like it.
Come up with these kind of things, random kind of stuff that you do, and that probably takes us on to the other
bodily fluids.
We're having a bodily function day on Monday. Now, you know how we were talking about this yesterday? So we were talking about this yesterday, and for some odd reason, I thought it was really appropriate to talk about this at the dinner table last night.
As you do.
Because why not? Because I was saying how much men are really missing out on the fact that they can never understand that feel of a fanny fart. They never get to understand what it's like when the bubbles rise the wrong way, around the front.
Around the front. And did you know that it actually has a proper term?
No. What is it?
Well, it's
another big word.
No, well, it does have a proper term, which we'll forget that. But the other term that I quite like, which is just one word, again, it just makes me smile just saying it, because I don't think you can say it without smiling. It's called queefing.
Oh, wait. Now, queefing, I didn't know that was its actual term. I thought that was still slang, like a real slang.
There is a proper term, but I think instead of having to say fanny fart, I just said a quick queef.
Queefing is one that goes very much like when you're talking about it when it comes to with sex. Like there is always just that kind of, they go quite sort of thing, you do,
right?
Just
a
queef.
And they do, don't they? They go. That's one of the main causes.
It's because of the air. I mean, it's literally, you've got something pumping in and out of a space. It's a little bit like anything. You're going to literally eventually there could be the gaps not sealed, or it's going to make a sound. Look at this, just you're going to it's like pumping up a balloon. Now, the next time Lucy pumps up a balloon, all she's going to be thinking about.
Oh my God.
But if you think about, who doesn't like that sound? When you fill the balloon up and you don't tie it and you let the air out.
Oh, I get 10 minutes. I get 10 minutes out of that in my act just by pumping up a balloon and doing funny noises.
That's about the closest a male will get to experiencing it.
Yeah, experience that feel when you're just like, oh, that's gone the wrong way. Oh,
yeah.
Oh. And honestly, and that was part of our dinner conversation yesterday when I was talking to my daughter about it, and it was really funny because everyone's sort of head over, really laughing, apart from my dad. I mean, he's one of those secret laughers, so you're thinking he hasn't told me off, so he probably does find it funny, but it was a little bit
that's hilarious.
It's one of those where they just kind of roll their eyes.
Yeah.
What did you?
But we all do it as females. We all do it, and why don't we talk about it? I mean, it happens. Sex is the most obvious because you're putting an object in there, and as you quite rightly said, there's going to be air created. But also, it happens in exercise classes a lot, especially when you're sort of upside down. Whether your head's upside down or whether your bum's in the air. But yoga and Pilates are classic for fanny farts. And there's much shame and embarrassment in class because people are just if they do it, you can see their face.
Is that comes across a bit like the sex thing with the positioning rather than there being a whole anything else? Yeah, it's
It is. Yeah, Louise, you're absolutely right. It is so real, and so many people feel awkward. And it's what? Sometimes when you're doing sit-ups, you do fart, not just fanny fart, but bottom fart, and sometimes they both happen at the same time.
And sometimes they happen without, literally with no warning, no warning whatsoever. And you're literally what? Was that me? I think that was me. Did anyone?
I love it because if it happens in class, and I've got one particular lady, and we're just like two kids when we get together. So if it happens, right, doesn't matter who does it, she will start laughing. If she laughs out loud, I start laughing, and then when there's two of us laughing, everybody else starts laughing. They don't even know what I'm laughing about, but it's just funny. And then I will just literally say, "Oh, that one slipped out. Make it a bit louder next time."
But it is like so like again, that's another one of those things though, right? With that whole taboo thing. And I still remember growing up, and I used to literally not want to go anywhere half the time with my mum, because that's like a different generation thing. And she used to like walking through shops and stuff, be completely silent. She loves the story, I tell it all the time. Completely silent, and she'd fart. And no one could hear it. It was not a thing. Yeah, she'd go, "Oh, pardon me." Like, no one heard it. No one heard it. Why are you making everyone know that you just fired? Like, what are you doing? And I like it's funny how we get in our head that that's like a thing you don't do in public and you don't do like outside. And again, it's that, yeah.
Yeah, but why? Why we taught that poo is dirty? We're talking about, I mean, this whole thing of women don't fart.
I know.
Ever. It's just like, seriously?
Proper ladies don't fart, don't enjoy sex, don't like, like things like that.
and occasionally it's like, as you were saying yesterday, Jessica, if you get in the bath and sometimes it's just like, oh, you can see the bubbles in the water.
See the bubbles. There's the bubbles. My kids laugh. I think they that's like becomes a thing though when they're a kid, isn't it? It's like see if they can make make
bubbles.
Well, make bubbles, stuff like that.
Who doesn't love a bubble?
Yeah, exactly. Brilliant.
Lucy, you do a lot of yoga. Do you find that it happens to you quite a bit?
No, it doesn't in yoga. No, it's more running for me.
Right.
Extra power. Pushes you along.
Yeah. No, it doesn't in yoga. Oh, what is it?
What are you thinking now? You're going to notice now. Next time you do a yoga class, you're going to notice what happens.
I actually did. I did a good session this morning. I actually do think I did this morning when I did my yoga. because I had an Indian last night. And yeah, that doesn't agree with my system at all either.
Do you know what I have to say though, right? If you had to do this is one of the things I must think about. Is it like the sound or the smell that's the problem for people? Is it both? Is it one or the other? Like I think I have the smell problem, not a sound problem.
I agree.
Yeah,
like, silent but deadly. Oof.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas if it's just a noise and there's no smell attached, it's flipping hilarious.
Yeah.
But if there's no noise and there's just this aroma that wafts, it's always an embarrassing one. I mean, I don't teach in the gyms anymore, but when I did, there would be the occasion that I would be at the front and this waft would just come over, and you could see that people were kind of going. And I would just be like, I'd go and get my deodorant out of my bag, and I'd just be walking around, just like going, "Oh, it's getting a little bit warm and a little bit ripe in here, isn't it?"
Does anybody own any VIP poo?
Oh my god, the VIP poo.
Do you remember that? That was hilarious, wasn't it?
Oh my god, I don't, but I
don't.
It's expensive. One of my friends had it. Yeah, it's really expensive, and it does work, but it does make it. It just basically is a film of oil on the top of the water.
You might as well just spray some deodorant.
Yeah, so it's meant to kind of like once it's gone through the layer, it's meant to stop it from kind of thinking. But I still remember the first time I saw that advert, I literally remember seeing it going,
what has it come to?
And you just didn't know what to do with it. I was just like, that's like a mainstreamy kind of advert mixed in with stuff, and it was just like VIP. Okay.
But that was really quite groundbreaking, wasn't it? Yeah. Because everybody was actually talking about it.
Yeah.
So it worked, but then now it's not everywhere. People have reverted back into ooh poo. You can't talk about it.
Yeah.
Which is why we're talking about it.
Should keep bringing it back. Crazy. Oh, we've been talking about poo for a while.
Well, we'll be here all day.
Yeah. So the moral of the story is do check your poo first. It can tell you a lot about what's going on in your body, or not.
Yes.
But then we're just I know that things irritate my stomach, like cheese and everything else, but then why do we still go and eat it, knowing that I'm just going to be like, tomorrow I am going to I'm going to really, really suffer tomorrow, but I'll still eat it.
Well, partly because we like that instant gratification. And you know what? Sometimes the pain isn't bad enough for us to not do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's bearable. So you just forget about it for them few minutes of like joy.
Yeah.
It's just McDonald's. And then as they're running home going, the McDonald's didn't like me. And you forget about it. It's like childbirth, I always say. You forget about it.
Yeah.
You forget what it's like and you do it again.
Yeah.
You see, you girls have got something on me because I did it once and went, never again. And I've never forgotten about it.
No, yeah. But there is meant to be something wired traditionally, like for us to forget what that actually means, like, and through that whole like process of like nearer the end to kind of make, you know, women go, yeah, we'll keep going. We'll have another one.
Well, I think it's often we don't necessarily understand just what is going on. And how many times were you told as a kid particularly, because don't forget we pick up all our beliefs and stuff when we're little, that, oh, if something just causes tummy, oh, don't worry, it won't last. Don't worry. You just have a hot water bottle. Don't worry, just rub your tummy, it'll go. Don't worry, take an anti-acid or whatever. Yeah. And so we're taught to dismiss it when actually it's your body's way of saying, don't do that.
Whatever you just did to me, don't do it again.
Yeah. We've been taught to dismiss it.
Everything comes down to, I think this is one of the worst things I ever found out after having kids, is how easily you can screw them up. And why did no one tell me that before having them? That I could literally bring these two humans onto this planet and then basically And it was awful. It was literally like, I remember reading this book about it and I'm just like going, oh my God, how do I stop talking to them and do this and do this? And because it's like really intense, like doing that. And yeah,
we don't realize because we're just passing on without consciously being aware of it what was said to us. And this is why, you know, things perpetuate in families and people blame genetics and stuff, and it's like, no, you've just been conditioned actually to think like that and do those things. So that's like you've got to have the awareness first to be able to break that chain. Well, it's not easy because it means you've got to be always aware of what you're saying. Which as a parent, when you've got so much going on, that's a hard task to do.
We should keep that for a subject, I think, to chat about like that whole like
So we've had some very interesting, confusing and yet amusing comments coming through. We're going to wrap things up, folks, because we have been tweeting on about fanny farts and poo for the last 30 minutes or so. So
what a combo.
If you are listening on replay, you haven't gone bonkers. Yes, that is what we've been talking about for the last half an hour. And we are quite open about it. And we're encouraging you to be too. Let's get rid of these stupid taboos about things that we all as human beings do and experience. So on that note, I'm going to say happy Monday, folks. Ladies, what would you like to leave our Luscious Ladies listeners with? We got a word of the week from Lucy this week. Lucy, what's your word?
Peace. It's International Peace Day today, so I'm piecing it out today.
Nice. Excellent. There you go. I didn't know that. International Peace Day, and Lucy's word of the week is peace. Cool. Jessica, what would you like to leave people with? Got to do that.
Peace. I want to leave people with to keep an eye out because I'm just setting up our own very special Facebook page. So as us, the three of us are going to come in a little hub and there, and so you'll be able to check us out there. So that's coming live. So please keep an eye on all of our channels for links that will come out near the end of the week. Otherwise, hope everyone has an amazing few days.
Excellent. Thank you so much, ladies. As always, it's been a pleasure and a delight. And guys who are listening and watching, thank you for your time. If you're listening on replay and on the podcast, have a lovely day. Whatever time of day you listen, take care of yourself, be well, and be luscious.
Bye. Love it. Bye.